1500, and today I'm going to be talking about the best generation of iPod Touch ever created by Apple, the iPod Touch 4th generation. So this iPod Touch 4th generation was released on September 12th, 2010. It boasting the exact same display as the iPhone 4 and the exact same processor as the iPhone 4, except it didn't go up to iOS 7. So the iPod Touch 4th generation came in 3 storage sizes. For poor people, they came in the 8GB size. For the middle class, we have the 32GB size. And if you're the mega rich who wants to waste their money on an iPod Touch because they don't want to buy the iPhone 4, we got the 64GB variant, but I don't have that with me right now because I wasn't able to find it in a thrift store. They came in the same colors as the iPhone 4 at the time, white and black. The colors back then were very basic, so there was only white and black to choose from. So the iPod Touch 4th generation is stuck on iOS 6, which is over 10 years old at this point, so no modern apps are going to be supporting it. If you are able to get it onto the device via jailbreaking, or you already own the app in the App Store, which you'll need to jailbreak anyway because the App Store doesn't work and will say every app is unsupported, you will not be able to log into most apps because most apps require a 64-bit architecture or a newer version of iOS, like Spotify, which does not let you log in on a 32-bit device anymore because it's basically nuked all its 32-bit device support, so if you haven't logged into the device before, you're completely fucked. Now, there are unofficial ways of getting iOS 7 onto the iPod Touch, as it has the same processor as the iPhone 4. So you can use a modified version of the iPhone 4's iOS 7 and then load it onto here, but that is highly unstable. I'm going to be doing it at the end of this video. So now, if you want to use the iPod to play music, and you're not already signed into Spotify, you will have to now go into your iTunes library, if you still have one, and then port it onto the device. Either that or import the Spotify songs via Spotify downloader site, which I did, and then put them onto the iTunes and then import them to the device. This 8GB model I have with me here has a stuck home button, so it doesn't go in all the way and it doesn't really respond. There is assistive touch for the home button, so you can still go home, but this button doesn't work very well. The previous owner probably got it stuck somehow, probably got some sticky substance in it. I noticed with a couple of the other buttons at the first was very sticky, so yeah. Please don't leave comments about the stuck home button. I do not want to imagine what is in it. No, I am not going to take this apart. Now, if you want to listen to that music out loud, the iPod Touch 4th generation has built-in speakers, which I think has been included on iPods since the iPod 2nd or 3rd generation. But to say they're bad is an understatement. The lightest way I could put it is we've improved in audio technology in phones over the past few years. You can connect AirPods and AirPods Pro to the iPod Touch. You will not get the prompt, as the prompt was added in iOS 10, I think. But you can connect them, and they will play out of the AirPods, and that'll give you much better sound quality. It has Bluetooth 2.1. The only complaints I do have is on my black iPod Touch. It will sometimes disconnect without disconnecting, if that makes any sense. And I have to switch the audio output from the iPod Touch back to the AirPods, so that's the only complaint I have about them. So the iPod Touch 4th generation has 2 cameras, one on the front and one on the back. To say they're not very good is an understatement. They're both under a megapixel. The back one is 0.7 megapixels, while the front one is 0.3, the same as the iPhone 4, but the back camera is different. And this doesn't take very good photos. So I'm gonna go to the local park and take a few photos with my iPhone XR, and I'm gonna take a few photos with the iPod Touch 4th generation, and let's see how they stack up. It's a pretty even match. And here is the camera quality on the iPod Touch 4th generation's front camera. This isn't very good. It's actually very bad. Not bad for this generation, but it's bad for today. I was expecting it to be worse, definitely, but yeah, this is quite bad, but not too bad. So, and here is the iPod Touch's back camera. I noticed it's a bit more darker than the front camera, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave it up to your judgment, but right now I'm gonna go and install iOS 7 on the white iPod Touch. Now, if you want to do this at home, 91 Tech has a great tutorial that I will link in the description. I will also put out some disclaimers. I couldn't get the tools to work on macOS Monterey or Catalina, and you will need a Mac with macOS High Sierra. I haven't tried on Mojave yet, so you can try that, but I don't think that will work either due to some security bullshit in those versions. There have been reports of this not working on the 16GB variant, so your mileage may vary, and you will lose all of this data on the iPod. So you make sure you make a backup. Also, don't do this if you don't have prior jailbreaking experience. There are a good chance that you might brick your device, and you should only be doing this if you have experience. Once I installed High Sierra, the process took around 20 minutes, and I was finally into iOS 7. Now this is very unstable, it lags in the settings app, the camera doesn't work, and since it's based on the iPhone 4's iOS 7, it still has the phone dialer. It crashes every 5 to 10 minutes. If you like using your iPod Touch daily, if so, the reason why is beyond me. Don't do this. It'll become intrinsically useless. So who is the type of person I would recommend the iPod Touch 4th generation for? Well, if you want a basic music player, which it's basically all that's good for, and want basic access to the web to check like Facebook, if you're an old person, then I would recommend this for you. Anything else is basically impossible to do. I mean, you could use it as like a messages client for like a kid that you don't want them to access like the internet and stuff, and just want them to have access to music, some movies, and some music in the car. This is a perfect device, but you can't barely do anything on it. Spotify doesn't work. So if you don't have an iTunes library, you'll have to download each song one by one or from Spotify in playlists. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.